Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, Sanjay. Good
Oh,
morning.
good morning. So we have wrote an narration in this paper. Yeah. So yesterday class we have discussed about the update sets movement. Okay, how to move update sets from one instance to another instance by using the updates. And we also discussed about the how to merge multiple update sets. Okay. In today class, we are going to discuss about UI policies. Very, very important concept. Okay, we can make 5 stars for this concept. Okay, like what I feel without having any question from UI policies, data policies, client scripts, no interview. Okay, definitely from these three concepts, definitely they will ask question, at least one question. Okay, what difference between UI policies versus data policies, UI policies versus client space. Definitely they will ask. Okay, that much important this concept is UI policies. So UI policies are used to make form dynamically. Make form dynamically. UI policies dynamically change the form behavior. Okay. UI policies dynamically change the form behavior. Okay. So by using UI policies, we can make field read only, can make field mandatory. We can visible or hide the fields. Okay, in the form level, only in the form level. Okay. So you may get one query here. So we are already doing field mandatory read only, visible or hide uh, from the dictionary form level. What is the use of UI policies? Yes, we are doing in dictionary level. Okay, it will applicable to both the client side and server side. That means in form level also it will apply, and list level also it will apply. Okay, so if you want to make that field mandatory, read only, visible, hide, only you want to apply to the form. Okay, at that time we have to use UI policies, and based upon the conditions also we can make it. So if you are using dictionary form, there is no way to make conditions. Okay, yes, we can note down the UI policies definition. Wait, wait, wait. I always look for the doc's definition. Always not on something. Share away. This is the correct way. You can UI policy dynamically change the behavior of information on a form, and control the custom process flows of for tasks. UI policies dynamically change the behavior of information on a form and control the custom process flows for tasks. Okay, I'm just copying this definition. UI policies dynamically change the behavior of information on a form and control the custom process flow for tasks. Next, you can use UI policies to make number field read only like that. Okay, you can use UI policies to make the number field on a form read only, make the short description field mandatory, and hide other fields. Basic UI policies do not require any scripting. However, for more advanced actions, we use the run script option. Okay. You can also use client scripts to perform all of these actions, but for faster load times, use UI policies whenever possible. Okay. You can use UI policies to make the number field on a form read only, make the short description field mandatory, and hide other fields. Okay. Like basic UI policies do not require any scripting. However, for more advanced actions, we use the run script option. You can also use client scripts to perform all of these actions, but for faster load times, use UI policies whenever possible. Okay. So whatever we are going to do with UI policies, okay, we can also do by using the client scripts. Okay. But in UI policies, we can do everything without scripting. If it is a client script, we have to do everything with the scripting only. Yeah. Anyway, in the UI policies also, we have scripting option. Okay. Next, what is the navigation for UI policy? Okay. Next, we have to write UI policies versus client scripts. Those points we can note down. Okay. You can come here. UI policy versus data policy. Maybe first I'm taking this. Like this, UI policy versus client script also written. So you can see UI policies executes on field values. UI policies do not execute on a form, save, submit, update. UI policies execute on a form field value changes. UI policies set mandatory attribute. UI policies set read-only attribute. UI policies set field visibility attribute. UI policies set field attributes with no scripting. Execute scripts for advanced logic in the UI policies. Okay. First of all, we can note down all these points. I'm just copying it. And I will also send you these two screenshots. Okay. Very, very important. These differences for the interview. Yeah, Victoria, are you got it? So why we have to use UI policies? The importance of UI policies.
I didn't quite get it. I don't know if you can explain again.
Okay. So basically, in the forms, if you want to make field read only mandatory, like visible, making field visible or hiding the field in the form based upon the conditions. Okay, only in the form level. Okay. So at that time, we will use the UI policies. So by using conditions also, we can do it. So you may got one question. So we already doing field mandatory, visible, hidden by using the dictionary form. What is the difference between making field read only mandatory, visible, hide from the dictionary level and from the UI policies? If we are doing it from the dictionary level, okay, it will apply to both client side and server side. Okay. If you are doing by using UI policies, it will apply to only form. Exclude by something to validate.
If we're using UI policy to only apply to the form, right?
Exactly. Yes.
But if we're using the dictionary, what does it apply?
It will apply to form and list both.
Okay, form and list.
And if it is from dictionary, we don't have option to make conditions based upon the conditions. I want to make field mandatory, read only, visible, height. We don't have that kind of facility if it is from dictionary level. Okay, directly if we want to make field read only, mandatory, visible, height, we can make it without any conditions. If it is from UI policies or data policies or from client scripts, okay, we can make it based upon the conditions. Got it?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So you can see UI policies executes based upon the field values, do not execute on form, save, submit, update, execute on form, field value change. UI policy set field mandatory attribute, read only attribute, visibility attribute, attributes with no scripting, and execute scripts for advanced logic. Okay. And from these differences also we can note down related to UI policy. Execute on form load, I think we already noted down. We have down. Yeah, maybe I will note down. Execute on form load. Okay. And this we already written. Execute on form field value changes. This we already noted down. Execute on form field value changes. This already noted down. Have access to fields old values. Do not have access to fields old values. Do not have access to field old values. And execute after client scripts. Okay, UI policies executes after client scripts. This question also will ask in interview. When UI policies executes, while we are discussing about client scripts and UI policies, first client scripts will execute, then after UI policies will execute. But UI policies executes fast. UI policies executes fast. I will also note down those points. This we already written, require control or order of execution. Okay. So these are the few things related to UI policy. Do not, maybe I will keep this do not things at the end of these points. Okay. Yeah. You can see client steps executes first. Okay. UI policies, ULICs executes fast. Okay. Client scripts executes fast. UI policies executes fast. This question they will ask you in the interviews. They want to confuse you. Okay. And I'm also copying these two URLs to Notepad. These three URLs I can say. Copy. And in this URL, you also find one YouTube video. So please try to watch that YouTube video. Okay. So copy. Okay. So next, what is the navigation for UI policies? What is the navigation for UI policies? Okay. So basically here you can say execute after client scripts. That means UI policies will execute after client scripts. Okay. In interviews, they will ask client scripts executes first or clients UI policies executes first. Client scripts will execute first. Okay. Again, I'm not writing this point. Here it is already there. Okay. Next, navigation for UI policies. Under system UI, we have UI policies. But system UI, we have UI policies. Okay. UI policies table name is sys underscore UI underscore policy. Underscore UI underscore policy. Okay. Sys underscore UI underscore policy. POLICY. And we have another table also there here. UI policy actions. UI policy action. Okay. What is the table name for UI policy action? Sys underscore UI underscore policy underscore action. Underscore POLICY underscore action. This is the table name for UI policy action. Sys underscore UI underscore policy underscore action. This is the table name for UI policy action. Okay. And we can go to the UI policy form and we can see how it looks like. Okay. So I'm just closing all the tabs. You can come here. UI policy. UI form. Or UI policies. You can see. Under system UI, we have UI policies. I'm just opening any one existing UI policy on instant table. Okay. For example. So you can say. It's loading. Here I'm just keeping as advanced view. This is the UI policy form. This is the UI policy form. You can see short description. We have to mention what we are going to do within this UI policy. Okay. And here we have 4 options: global, reversive, onload, inherit. Okay. And here we made UI policy actions. You can see caller ID mandatory to, short description mandatory to. Okay. This is the UI policy form. Okay. So here we have 4 options, right? We can note down those. Okay. When to apply UI policies. When to apply UI policies. When to apply UI policies. So we have 4 options here: global, onload, onload. Third one is inherit.
Reversive false.
Inherit,
Inherit.
reversive false. This false. Okay. Maybe reversive false. Yeah. Okay. So these are the 4 options here. You can see global, onload, reversive false, inherit. Okay. So we can note down about these 4 options. Okay. It's kind of theory. First, global. So if we want to apply this particular UI policy, if we want to apply UI policy on all form views, if we want to apply this UI policy on all form views, we have to make global true. Otherwise, you can apply this UI policy to specifically to that particular view. For example, here I'm selecting self-service view. You can see. Okay, like this. Okay. Now, for example, if I save this UI policy, this will only apply to this self-service view. Do you remember we have created form views, list views, form sections? Do you remember that? Okay. So if we make global, it will apply to all views. So you can say if selected, the EY policy apply to all farm views. Otherwise, the EY policy is view specific. Just global. Next, onload. Like if you want to execute EY policy while loading the form. If we want to execute this EY policy while loading the form, we have to make onload true. I will explain you all these things practically once theory is completed. Okay. So while loading the form, if we want to apply EY policy, then we have to make onload true. So apply the EY policy action when the form loaded and when the user changes values on the form. Okay, if we make onload true, it will execute while loading the form as well. Copy. I'm just copying it. Next, reverse if false. What will do this reverse if false? For example, in this EY policy, okay, in EY policy, if we made true condition, false condition, it will automatically take. False condition, it will automatically take. So for example, if I am saying here in the condition, I'm saying active true. For example, in the condition, I'm saying active true. Okay. If we make reverse if false, true. If we make reverse if false, true. It will take automatically false condition. Like active false condition also it will take. Okay. For example, if I am saying color is Anji, then make short description field read only. Okay. If color is Anji, make short description field read only. If color is not Anji, it will make that field editable because of this reverse if false. Okay. Opposite condition it will execute. Okay. Reverse the effects of the EY policy action when the conditions evaluate to false. Reverse the effects of the EY policies action when the condition evaluates to false. Okay. If I'm doing as this reverse if false says no, like that. Maybe if you see practically, then you will get to understand more. Okay. Inherit. So can see we have created child table, parent table relationships, right? So if we applied EY policies on the parent table, if we want to bring that EY policies to child table, we have to make inherit true. For example, we have created parent narration, child narration. If we created EY policies on the parent narration, we want to bring that EY policies to child narration. At that time, you have to make inherit true. Okay. I'm just copying this inherit true, copy. So these are the 4 options while applying the EY policies. Okay. These are the 4 options while applying the EY policies. And next, here you can see, here we have EY policy actions. We have multiple options: mandatory, visible, read only. Okay, mandatory, visible, read only. You can also note down this. Maybe I'm just opening one EY policy action for your reference. Okay. Yes. EY policy actions. By policy action. What are the options we have? So you can come mandatory, visible, read only. Read only. Mandatory, visible, read only. Okay. So we have 3 options. And in the EY policy action choice values, we have 3 values. Okay. What are those? True, false, leave alone. Okay. True, false, leave alone. Right. You can see true, false, leave alone. True, false, leave alone. True, false, leave alone. We can also note down about this. UI policy action choice values. UI policy actions choices. UI policy action choices. Okay, choices. What are those? True, false, leave alone. Okay. So if you are making that mandatory true, that means you can apply mandatory. We are saying you can apply mandatory true. If you are making, for example, mandatory false, you can remove the mandatory to that field. If you are saying leave alone, mandatory leave alone, that means you don't do anything to this field. Okay, like this. Next. So in interviews, they will ask few questions here. Okay, we can note down this. How many ways we can make field read only? In interviews, they will ask how many ways we can make field read only. READONLY. How many ways we can make field read only? So tell me, maybe you have few options, right? By using configuration dictionary, by using dictionary override, by using UI policies, by using data policies, by using client scripts, by using ACLs. Okay, these many ways we can make field read only. Okay. Yes, I will note down here. Configuration configure or configure configure dictionary. Yes. Next dictionary override. Next UI policies. Next data policies. Next client states. Next ACs. Okay, these many ways we can make field read only. Next question. How many ways we can make field mandatory? Okay. How many ways we can make field mandatory? Okay. You can come. All these options except Excel. So I'm just copying it and pasting here. Okay. You may get any of one question from these two in the interview. Next. So for example, if we make field mandatory and read only at a time, so what action it will take? Okay. At a time, I'm doing field mandatory and read only on same field at a time. So what action it will take? Okay, we can note down about that point. If we make field read only and mandatory, we make field read only and mandatory. Okay, we make field read only and mandatory at a time. Okay. If the field contains the data, that field contains the data, both mandatory and read only will apply. Okay. Otherwise mandatory only applies. Okay. So for example, we are planning to make short description field mandatory and read only. Okay. We are planning to make short description field mandatory and read only at a time. Okay. So if that short description field contains any data, okay, like it will apply mandatory and read only. Okay. If that short description field don't have data, it is an empty field, for example, then it will apply only mandatory and that field should be editable. Okay. All these things will see in the practical way also. Okay. Next. Like that, if we make field mandatory and visible, like we are making field mandatory and we are trying to make field hidden, then what happens? We can see. Okay. If we make field mandatory and visible false. Visible false means hiding the field, hiding the field. Okay. Visible false means hiding the field at a time. What happens? If we make field mandatory and visible false at a time, okay, it will not hide and it will show mandatory. So if we are making mandatory true and hiding the field, so it will never hide the field because we made it is mandatory. Okay. Mandatory means we have to enter some data and we cannot hide mandatory fields in the forms. Okay. If we make field mandatory and visible false at a time, it will never hide the field. The field and it will apply only mandatory. Okay.
But it's already visible false, no?
Sorry.
It's already visible false. It will not show the field.
No. So by using if policies, okay, we are making
Mhm.
field mandatory and we are making field visible false. Yes, that field visible false. That means it should be hidden, but we
Huh.
are also making field mandatory. Got it? So mandatory fields never hidden. Mandatory fields never hidden. Okay.
Okay, got it.
For example, in general way, like maybe you are submitting some form. Okay, you are submitting some form. Okay, maybe in that you will find the mandatory fields. Like without filling mandatory fields, you can try to submit the form. Definitely, it will not accept like that. Okay, mandatory fields should be visible. Okay, we cannot hide mandatory fields. You can see if we make field mandatory and visible false at a time, it will never hide the field and it will apply only mandatory. So if we want to, for example, if we want to hide the mandatory fields, what is the procedure? We can note down that point. If you want to hide the mandatory field, okay, if we want to hide the mandatory field, okay. So what we have to do? First, we have to remove the mandatory, then we have to hide the field. Okay. So first, you have to remove the mandatory and then hide the field. Okay. So this is the procedure. If you want to hide mandatory fields, first of all, we have to remove the mandatory, then we have to hide the field. Okay. So here you have any queries, please ask me. We almost completed theory part. Victoria, you have any queries?
No.
Okay. Sai, Hari, Jaya, Lata, Mamata, Saidlu, Satish, Satya, Saushanya, Srinivas. Any queries? Sureka, Tammi, Usha.
No, you can carry us.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So tell me, like basically now we have only almost 1 minute time only for ending of this meeting. If it is ends, you can join again with the same meeting ID. Okay. Like what I observe, so from second time joining, somebody are not joining. Okay. So I'm taking attendance in first class and second class both. Okay. So please don't absent for the second sections. Okay. Yeah, once we join again, we will do the practical examples. So, like from these questions, have you got this? Like, what is the difference of making field mandatory, visible, hidden from by using configuration dictionary, by using dictionary override, by using giveaway policies? Any queries from these three? When we apply field mandatory or read only by using the configuration dictionary, without any conditions, in the form you list, if we want to make field mandatory without any conditions, okay, we will make configuration dictionary. Okay, by using configuration dictionary we will make. Okay, if it is a parent child relationship table, okay, if we want to override parent table field properties, at that time we will apply mandatory read only by using the dictionary override. Okay, and when we apply UI policies, if we want to apply that particular mandatory read only or visible only by using the form, only in the form. Okay, and maybe you have conditions as well. Okay, you may have conditions as well. Okay, at that time you will use UI policies. Got it? In interviews they will ask this question and they will ask, we have to explain each and everything, when we will use configuration dictionary, when we will use dictionary override and UI policies. Okay,